Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful week and you're ready for another meeting. This week we continue talking about reviews and feedback, and we will focus on blacklists and social media groups. A very useful tool for especially translators. And we are going to explore the rules of engagement. So grab your coffee or tea and come in. The meeting is about to start. And I now declare the meeting open. So today we are going to talk about social media groups and blacklists. All of this is also part of feedback that we may provide. However, these are more specialized for certain industries, and the translation industry is definitely one of them. We certainly are aware of these groups. I'm sure most of you are in a translator forum or in a translator group like Pros or any other social media group where usually translators can talk about things that happen within the day by day work, and sometimes it can be good, and it can obviously be something very negative depending on the way you use these groups. I think, first of all, it's important to say that all of these groups and these blacklists are very important and powerful tool for translators. For example, I'm thinking about blacklists like PROS, Blueboard, and other similar blacklists. They can provide useful information about possible clients that may not be doing the right thing and may not be paying on time, um, may not be dealing with the professionals correctly, and things like that. And that obviously it's important to pass on that information so other translators are aware, but also if these companies also have a profile in those groups, to be aware that people are dissatisfied with their performance and their attitude, and maybe they can change. Um, However, it is important that we do it in a meaningful way, and obviously always in a correct, I would say, in a correct way, that a polite way that does not uh, come into the offensive, negative, etc., because obviously that is not going to be good. The same happens with social media groups. Some of them also want to be blacklisted, so they also want to talk about bad practices in the industry, etc. They also good to get colleagues in contact with each other, so they may be a way of networking as well. However, again, we need to be aware the way we engage in these groups, we engage in these tools, because it can go the wrong way, and it can be really a disadvantage for us in terms of getting new clients. And why? We need to be aware of what we say in these groups and how we approach these issues. Yes, it is important to say that, for example, we have worked with an agency or with a client that hasn't paid us or has engaged in bad practice. It is important that we put it out there. It is important that other translators are aware of this. But we don't really need to be negative. We don't really need to be uh, carrying that um, offensive kind of language that sometimes, unfortunately, we see in these groups. And why? Because most of those groups, especially the social media groups and even the blacklists, Pros Blueboard, for example, it's open. People can, and if they talking about companies that are also registered on Pros as providers, as clients, obviously they will be able to access the blue board and see what is in there, which I, by the way, think it's fair, because it gives them the opportunity to reply to what translators are saying and justify their practices, or maybe even solve any issues. So I think it is important that both sides of the story are told, because that's, in my view, what accounts for fairness. However, we need to be aware of this, and we need to be careful with the way we provide our feedback. I said this last in our last meeting, when I was talking about providing feedback in general to companies that we work with, and obviously asking feedback to our clients. But this is also important when we provide a feedback about a client that we work with. If that client did something wrong, yeah, we should say so. We should say that there is bad practice out there, or maybe that we were contacted by some scammer. We should obviously let other colleagues know and things like that, but without the nastiness, without the negativity, because that would be disadvantageous for us. Um, because good clients will see that too, and they will see the way that we comment, and they will see, and sometimes it may be a misunderstanding and things like that, because it happens sometimes. There is misunderstandings on things, and if you just go straight away with a negative comment and things like that, you won't look good, and your clients will think, well, if there is some misunderstanding, and if we delay something, or um, they would just go and trash our reputation, and that's not good. So be aware of that. It needs to be a balanced thing. Yes, providing information and providing feedback is very important, the same way that it is important to ask for feedback. I said that last week, but it is important that we do it in a meaningful way. And it's important, especially when we deal with blacklists, when we deal with these social media groups, it is very important that we think that, yes, we are trying to call out for a bad client, for a company that is not doing the right thing, but plenty of those who actually do the right thing will read that as well, and make their own conclusions about us based on the comments that we make. So I wanted to talk about this because I thought this is important to talk about. It's important that obviously scams are exposed. Um, Companies that don't pay, companies that really want translators to work for free and things like that. Obviously, those need to be spoken about and exposed, but we don't really need to be extremely negative and rude and nasty to tell other colleagues that, well, this has been my experience. I did not like it, and I'm making that information available, so everyone else who gets contacted by this particular company knows what they do, but in a positive way, just telling the story as it happened, without any exaggerations and exaggerated negative connotations, which sometimes happens as well, and just being plain, telling the story, what happened, and saying, well, this might happen to you. This was my experience, and that's it. And you will say that you'll tell your story. You'll let other people know what happened without something that may scare away your clients. And that's all for today. I now declare the meeting closed. I hope you liked today's meeting. I hope it helped you um, get a little insight on what sometimes we may do wrong when we participate in blacklists or social media groups. They are very useful, but they need to be used with care. Um, if you have any experience, positive or negative, about any of these things, please share. Why not? And put a like, the algorithm, the whole thing about YouTube, and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a meeting every week. And before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.